Wetware Media presents American Maelstrom, the 1968 election and the politics of division. Written by Michael A. Cohen and narrated by Stephen Aulridge Jr. Copyright 2016 by Michael A. Cohen. This recording is copyright 2016 by Wetware Media. For more information about Wetware Media and other great audio titles, please visit wetwaremedia.com. That's WETWAREMEDIA.com.
Introduction. On January 20th, 1965, more than 1 million people came together on the grounds of the U.S. Capitol and the National Mall to witness the most celebratory of American political traditions, a presidential inauguration. Tens of millions of others gathered around their televisions and radios in family rooms and offices. While the 38-degree weather may have chilled the spirits of some, an unmistakable feeling of optimism, excitement, and hope for the future defined the day. 14 months after the unimaginable assassination of President John F. Kennedy, America appeared to be turning the corner. Spurred by seemingly limitless economic prosperity and apparent political consensus in Washington, a Gallup poll with the title America's Mood in the Mid-60s found a population remarkably content with nearly every aspect of their lives, and confident that the good times would continue. For African Americans, Inauguration Day was particularly special. The re-election of the man who had signed into law the most far-reaching civil rights legislation in the nation's history offered an implicit validation of their struggle for equal rights. For Lyndon Johnson, this day represented the pinnacle of his political career. He felt carefree and zestful, according to the New York Times. He had a smile, a wave, a handshake, or a kiss for everyone, wrote the Washington Post. That night, he would become the first president to dance at his own inaugural ball. His festive mood reflected the historical, political, and personal achievement that was his overwhelming victory in the 1964 presidential election. Millions and millions of people, each marking my name on their ballot, each wanted me as their president. For the first time in all my life, I truly felt loved by the American people, Johnson later said, in a quote that, unintentionally but pointedly, illuminates Johnson's constant need for affirmation. His win had been no ordinary triumph. The Democratic Party's New Deal coalition of urban ethnics, farmers, blacks, and some, though not all, white Southerners united behind him, just as they had done for 6 of the 8 previous presidential elections. This time, however, it produced the most resounding electoral victory in American history. Johnson didn't just defeat his opponent, Republican nominee Barry Goldwater, he crushed him. LBJ won 61% of the popular vote, a margin so outsized that it helped Democrats pick up 36 seats in the House of Representatives and 2 in the Senate, for an imposing 66-34 advantage. Johnson had won more votes than his predecessor, John Kennedy, more votes than his hero, Franklin Roosevelt, more votes than any president in the nation's history. Johnson was, by his own definition, the most loved man in American history. Still, for all the gaiety of Inauguration Day, signs of trouble, though perhaps only visible to the most far-sighted of observers, had peeked above the surface. Earlier that spring, in Wisconsin, Indiana, and Maryland, Alabama Governor George Wallace, running on a platform of strident opposition to civil rights legislation and boosted by growing white anxiety over integration and rising crime rates, scored impressive results in Democratic presidential primary elections. Major riots broke out in Harlem, Philadelphia, and a host of other East Coast cities. On Election Day in California, a state Johnson won handily, voters by a 2-to-1 margin backed Proposition 14.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?